CrackBerry.com.
Hey everybody, Kevin here for CrackBerry.com. We are at CrackBerry Live at BlackBerry Live 2013. This is the first CrackBerry official podcast of the show because nothing else is counted yet. We've been doing lots of posts. This CrackBerry Live setup we have pretty much kicks ass. I mean, it is actually amazing. I don't know how to even describe it.
Amazing.
We are set up like in the heart of BlackBerry Live. You know, everybody is walking past us here. It is not a little space. It is a big space. And today we're going to take, I don't know, 30, well, we'll see how long we go. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And we're going to talk about the news of day one, which is really the day at BlackBerry Live. To my far end, we have Simon Sage, the tallest man in blogging. Why don't you stand up for the crowd? We've got Adam Zeiss, the glue that really runs CrackBerry. He never gets his dues. Today I'm going to give it to him.
What's the occasion?
Stand up and take a
What's
bow.
the occasion?
I don't want you to
even
quit
know
on
what
me.
you can't leave me in the middle of the
Don't you quit on me. Don't you quit on me. We got Blaze, the personality. I don't even know what you do around here, but all I know is if you weren't here, it would
Sleeps
not
a
be
lot.
CrackBerry.
Exactly. Drinks a lot of Red Bull.
And I'm Kevin. I talk too much, but people seem to like it for the most part.
Seem to like it.
Yeah.
So we won't
tolerate you.
We're not going to change what we do for a living. We haven't really been drinking alcohol today, which is a little different than our traditional CrackBerry podcasts.
This may be better or worse than normal.
Normally it's like 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. and we're hammered, but it's only audio, and it's never very good. So this is like high production value, so we're really kind of confused.
Pressure's on. I'm not really sure what to do right now, but we're going to try our best.
We're giving her all we got. All right, pull up your Evernote and let's
fire it up.
All right, so we have an agenda that Adam, because he is the glue, put together, and we're going to talk about what happened today. We can talk a little bit first about what happened yesterday, maybe Monday.
For sure.
Not much, right? Opening reception,
It was Government Day. So
Government Day.
Not exactly a whole lot went on, but
We spent the day building our CrackBerry Live set, saying hi to tons of people. What's really awesome is normally we're hidden in the press room, and then people want to find us, right? So they'll walk into the press room and we're kind of a disruptive force. So I think bringing us out of the press room is really awesome because people can just find us.
Sure.
But the flip side is everybody says hi, which is the best part of the flip side. But then it's also like it takes longer to get things done because then we're like, I want to talk to everybody.
well, it's not much different out here because everybody wants to talk to us too out here.
No, it's good. It's a ton of fun.
We become sort of like a help technical support desk as well.
And we have lots of bugs to report too.
Yeah,
we do.
There's actually a couple things we
Making a
learned today
list.
from people saying, why is my Z10 doing this and not this? And I'm like, oh, I never noticed that before. So, but I digress. So that was Monday, opening reception, all went well. Tuesday morning, we lined up early at the front of the line to go into the keynote.
As always.
As always, we got the front row, as always. It's tradition. I did a little sprinting, but we had to stop right away because there was like...
Yeah, that was no fun. Normally we'd sprint all the way in, but we sprinted down and then they kind of stopped us at the door again, so it was a little frustrating.
I think they got used to our pattern.
We still made it. Yeah, they knew it was going to happen, so they said, Kevin, stop right there.
Stop.
But we still made it.
But then we got in and we sat down. We waited for the keynote to start. It started. Torsten Heinz came on stage, BlackBerry's CEO, and he was extremely comfortable today. I think we've seen him speak, probably a half a dozen times now on stages, and I don't think I've seen him, he was better than I've ever seen him in terms of just like...
Yeah, he was top form today.
He's the CEO, it took him, I guess, a year, and he's now like, yeah. It doesn't matter, I'm not saying the announcements or anything, just like his stage presence is really comfortable and
Yeah,
good
it was
now.
really good.
Very
now.
relaxed,
Yeah, solid. And he was never bad, but now he's like really good. I think
It's confidence. It's what it is. It's just like he exudes confidence when he's up there, and he really believes in what he's actually saying and telling everybody, and he grasps people. Like, he just gets the information out there, and it's all exciting.
Oh, he's good. The thing about CEOs is like they're hired because they're smart and they're good at business, typically. It's not because they're good on stages.
Right.
And you see some very good CEOs on stages and you see some very, very, very bad ones. We're familiar with a couple. I went there right away. Zing!
Anyway.
But really good, the new C-level guys. And before we get into the news, I think the interesting thing about this year's Keynote was, they really brought out all of the new executives, because last year when Heinz was on stage, he was solo, right? It was him talking about what he wanted to do with the company and about the future with BlackBerry 10. And then they literally had to build that team. And I think at that point, maybe the CMO and like Franck Boubin and Christian Tiar were lined up, but they hadn't joined the company yet. So really the last 12 months, I mean, these are a whole bunch of high-level guys came into the company. They've done their thing, whether it's restructuring, cost-saving things, new initiatives. But they all had their time on stage today, is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah. At the end, they were all lined up there. It's like, this is the executive team.
It was like, here's your executive force.
They basically drove them back out at the end, right? And they just had like resounding applause. It was cool. It was like the end of the show, and they're like, oh.
But I'm going to say one thing about that. So, because they had the 5 guys, they had Torsten Heinz on stage, they had Frank, the chief marketing officer, they had Steve Zipperstein, legal, they had Christian Tiar, COO, and they had Brian Badalko, CFO. There's one role that's missing from there. CTO, Chief Technical Officer, right? Who's like the head, there's none of the product guys on stage. That's like all the business guys. There's no like Dan Dodge, right?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
there's none of the head of software product for a tech company.
Good point.
I was like, one spot to fill I want to see there next year. Now, I like Dan Dodge on stage too, but Super Dan, we're giving you props.
Here's something you called that.
Really?
Dan Dodge, we're giving you
told me.
props.
What about Dan the Man?
Dan the Man, we're giving you props. But yeah, it was interesting to watch that. I think it's their chance to basically once a year get on stage and say, this is it. These are the people behind the scenes who are, honestly, there's thousands of people under them doing all the work, right? But it was an interesting thing. Now let's talk announcements. Adam, starting with you.
What should we start with?
I don't know. Here's a laptop.
With no power.
Oh, there's power.
Yeah.
I made a list before. Well, okay, so this is a good place to start. We can start right off the bat. They had the Z10 announcement. The Z10 was going to be getting updated to OS 10.1. So it's rolling out. I think it started rolling out this morning. It had a bunch of carriers in Canada, I believe.
Yeah, which was totally interesting. Like all of the carriers just automatically pushed it out.
Which is, I'm pretty sure we decided it's the first time that all the Canadian carriers were on the same page and it popped up all at the same time, which was pretty awesome.
The closest we got to this before was the day the first update came to the Z10, but it was only in Canada at that point, right? Or the UK and Canada, and I think the carriers all did it in the same day. But this was like coordinated effort. They all launched within minutes of each other.
Yeah, and that's not to say that other places didn't get it. It's just it seemed like a very concentrated effort within Canada to actually get it put out there, which was awesome.
And that's coming. It's rolling out, so it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in the US, Canada, UK, all over the place. So all the Z10s are going to be updated to 10.1. And going along with that, they announced that Skype is going to be available too, because showed up in BlackBerry World, I think on Sunday maybe, for the Z10 if you were running OS 10.1, which at that point you had to be running the leak. So we kind of expected that it was coming because they wouldn't have put it into BlackBerry World if it wasn't going to show up.
Yeah.
So they kind of go hand in hand. So once you get the 10.1 OS update on the Z10, then you can go ahead and download Skype from BlackBerry World, which is awesome because people have been waiting for that. I know a lot of Z10 users felt like they got shafted when it was made available for the Q10. So that was pretty big news, and that kind of started the flow of things a little bit. And then
I think Kevin's battery died.
I got 7%. Just keep going.
So on the flip side of that, we had a couple carriers. They didn't really mention it, I don't think, in the keynote, but they did at the beginning that the Q10 is going to be available in the US by the end of June, and then a couple of carriers. I know Verizon and Sprint.
Q10. Now, did they say end of June or beginning June or rolling out?
They said early June, and the original time frame was May.
So we should talk about that, right? I've got my beautiful white Q10 here. I was really hoping to have it. I mean, honestly, we were in New York for 2 months. I really was hoping I would arrive just in time for the Z10 launch and then experience the Q10 launch before I left for BlackBerry Live. Obviously, that didn't happen, which is too bad. I mean, between end of May and early June, even middle of June, it's already... Here's the thing I learned in New York, it doesn't matter. The people who are waiting for BlackBerry 10 now, phones, they just want the Q10, they're on their 9900s and stuff. Another month or 3 months, it doesn't matter. And the Q10 audience, this is an upgrade cycle, right? The people who have already moved on to iPhones or Androids or even Z10s and loving it, they don't care, right? The people who want the Q10 are gonna get the Q10 as soon as it's available.
Sure.
I hate when people have to wait, but it's going to happen.
Yeah,
so it goes.
It's inevitable.
And people who want it are going to love it.
And the thing is that they never, they never really set the expectation of when it would actually arrive anyways. They said end of May, between there. So a push to early June isn't exactly, it's not really a change.
But I was thinking it does go back to that, remember that analyst report that a long time ago like stirred up controversy? Weren't those guys who were like, rumors, it's been moved to June? And I think that we published a post or a statement saying, no, it's not.
And
Yeah, probably.
And here we are, it's June. I'm like, that was the first thing that came to my head. I was like, oh, maybe that was, I mean, probably not true at the time, but became true.
Yeah.
It shaped reality.
So it goes.
Yeah. But Verizon and Sprint put up their pre-order pages, and T-Mobile business customers can actually go.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Simon last
Yeah.
night did videos.
Yeah,
They did.
T-Mobile and Sprint were there. Now the models that they were showing there were still like pretty much right from BlackBerry and had the serial number still imprinted on them and everything. But they were running on T-Mobile and Sprint networks, so they're getting there. They're making solid steps. So
Yep.
What's next? What do we got to talk
What's
about?
next?
What happened?
What came next? The BlackBerry Q5.
What's the
was announced.
Q5? Oh my gosh.
The Q5 is a new QWERTY keyboard device, which is an entry-level device. It is going to be coming in pink, red, white, and black.
That's fantastic.
We don't know any specifics on the carriers or regional locations as of yet, but
It's the new curve. It's going wherever
Yeah,
the curve
it
went. So let's talk about the Q5 name first.
Sure.
So obviously, rumored code name before was the
R10.
R10. And they went the Q5. So I like what they did there. I think one of the things. So two points I want to make here before you guys can
Talk.
tear them
talk.
apart.
tear them
Basically,
apart.
I'm going to talk before you talk. Go.
So I felt with the Curve branding, which was always a great name, but once the Bold came out in that, you kind of felt like if you own the Curve, you're owning like the lower end Curve.
Lower
Or
end.
Not at the start. The Curve 8300 was the best phone ever.
Yep.
And
And
then
the
over
eight-
the years, and the 8900 was like the
8900
best
was
BlackBerry
the best,
ever.
man.
But then towards the end, you're like, oh, I got a
You
Curve.
felt like you were behind the curve at that point.
yeah, exactly.
You weren't being bold.
So going with Q, which they said, Q for QWERTY, and now you start to position the series off numbers. It's not bad,
Yeah.
well,
It's like a half a Q10.
It's like
Yeah.
a car. It's like I own a BMW, whether it's a 323 or a 328, it's a good car, right? Like
Yeah.
engine size is different.
So as long as they stay consistent with the form factor, right? Like as soon as they started making like all-touch torches, then like the original torch name didn't have the same
Fell
connotation
apart.
anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
So
But they
like,
couldn't use Storm again.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
going to talk about that on podcast.
Don't go there.
Sorry.
I apologize.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Old wounds. But,
Terrible.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
Are we watching the live chat to see if people are even liking this?
No,
or not?
because
No.
we're talking right now. It doesn't matter if they like it. They should like it.
John P would say, John P,
P is
who's
very
helping us
busy.
produce everything this week, he would say,
Busy
talk
man.
to your audience more.
yeah. So what's our audience saying?
Well, this is a traditional podcast. So.
It is.
This is a
So-
podcast. We don't. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Should we talk more about the R10?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We gone. So name. I like what they did with the Q5. How about you?
Or,
yeah,
I said
makes
R10.
sense.
I'm so weird.
Q5,
I do,
like
I
it?
like it, yes.
Logical.
Logical. Like it.
I like the fact that it comes in a ton of colors too. It's pretty awesome. At
Yeah.
launch.
Yeah. At launch, right?
Because it's again, like you were saying, it's sticking kind of to their Curve roots because the Curve was really,
Yeah.
aside from the Pro, I guess was the only device that came in colors because they used to have, like the sunset orange and the
Yeah, and the red.
somebody had the funky blue one years ago, but they're
Rogers had the
that was
red
really
one that
neat.
I lusted after
Yeah.
for like years and couldn't get my hands on.
So it's so it's straight up going back to the Curve because it has the Curve keys on it, that separated keyboard, and then the variety of colors. So it's
Keyboard
it's pretty
feel
awesome.
I liked. It had the little like the clack of a good curved keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So things that are different between the Q10 and the Q5. Now, if you kind of like stack them on each other, it pretty much feels like the same
Same footprint. Yeah.
same footprint, right? Like the camera's in the same spot, like everything's kind of in the same spot. Screen resolution's the same.
Yeah, 720 by 720.
Which makes sense because they don't want to mess with that for fragmenting app development. So basically, they're saving money on materials and on leaving a few things out. Like there's no HDMI out on it,
No removable battery.
no removable battery door. It's a very light phone. Like it's, it felt like literally no battery was in it. I asked about the battery size. I didn't actually.
It's 2100 milliamp hours, I think.
Is it that big?
Yeah.
So how is the phone so light? No metal frame, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's fairly plasticky, very
Yeah.
glossy finish.
Yeah.
So have to deal with that, but I'm fine with
5
it.
nice,
megapixel on the back camera,
Yeah.
still has a front-facing camera.
Yep.
Processor's a little slower, but
I didn't feel the difference. I
No.
played around with it and it's like still snappy. I could
So-
still get around.
so what I'd like to say here is I'm I'm really happy with what BlackBerry did. And
Yeah.
they didn't sacrifice the actual performance and user experience of BB10 on the phone to lower cost. They know they had to get the price point down, but they did it through sort of material savings and probably, manufacturing savings.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
rather than actual hardware.
Yeah,
like-
because that was the problem with the old curves. It's like, oh, you don't get
Yeah.
a flash on your camera. It's like,
really?
But you can have a mirror and take
Yeah.
pictures of yourself.
yeah, so
do you want Wi-Fi or do you want GPS?
Yeah.
There's less memory internally. There's 8 gigabytes instead of 16 gigabytes.
Yeah.
But, if
but
you've
there's
got,
2 gigs of RAM though still, right?
I think so.
have they locked that down?
I think
I
there's.
doubt it.
I thought I heard that. Maybe I
Okay.
made that up, but I
Maybe.
think I heard
Maybe you
that.
did make it up, but that's okay.
No, but I think they said, we'll get the cost down because it has to be a low-cost phone.
Sure.
That's the whole appeal behind the device.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a good performing device. So if you buy it, if it's what you want or you just get it from work or something, I think it's going to be a good experience. It's
I think a
as
lot of
good
people.
as this in a lot of ways.
I think a lot of people actually go for the curved keyboard because it's not the bold keyboard. It's curved
Yeah.
keyboard. There was a lot of people out there that actually bought a curve because they liked the curved
Yeah.
keyboard.
Well, it's a great keyboard. They're nice looking too, because they're not. It's not like where you have this ugly red face and then these scattered black keys in the middle. It's,
Yeah.
it's all the solid color. So when you have the red device, you have the red keys. The pink device has the pink keys. So it's good because it's just, it looks nice. It's one solid piece, and there's plenty of room on the back to put all kinds of stickers and fun stuff, so you can decorate it like your laptop or anything like that. If
you're not
worry
gonna-
about it.
yeah.
So that's good.
I agree. What else should we say about the Q5?
I don't know if there was much to say. It's coming
This summer?
late summer, they said, and it's going to be
But like
available.
not really North America, right?
I think it's more
No,
emerging
it's-
markets and stuff.
Well, you
they
still
say
might,
now,
you might
but
see Rogers
sure
pick it
we'll
up
see
still. I mean, they picked up every curve right to the end.
It
like,
wouldn't surprise
on
me to
BB7.
find it on a Canadian carrier. or
I'm
something
sure,
like that.
at some point we'll see it all over the place. But I think in the beginning it might be fairly limited.
Oh, it's good. It's all coming out, right? It's interesting. I mean, I don't want to. It's a upbeat day, but I mean, actually, Torsten Heinz said it today, and after the keynote, we'll get to this, I guess. But he had his. I'm going to bring it up now. They did the executive Q&A session, and even during the keynote, he had a couple of very real moments. And they said, like, look, a year ago, everybody was telling me this will be like your first and last keynote.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And here we are today.
And here we are today.
Still in
Money in the
business.
bank, still in business.
I think another thing we have to note quick is that we were talking about what we expected to see. We ran a post the other night on asking people what they expected
Right.
to see, and we totally, I think we lost the bet because we were pretty much in agreement that we weren't going to see new devices because we
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
we were in that the Z10 and the Q10's not even out in the US yet, so we had talked about it.
I
And
guess-
we really said no new devices, and then sure enough, that was like one of the first things that happened in the keynote. He pulled this shiny red device out, and we were just kind of like, oh, we'll take it.
No,
Yeah,
and
but
I think
that's-
wait, I'm going to justify why I called that though too.
Okay.
Because the R series was like, it's coming. And I
Right.
think it's not like it came out today.
Right.
And it's not competitive to the Q10, right? So I was thinking, people are saying Aristo, which is a rumored, 5-inch version of the Z10.
Sure.
Maybe they'll call it the Z15.
It would make sense.
Maybe it'll be the Z5, but for the size of the display. I don't know what they're going to do. But so I wasn't really thinking about it. But it totally makes sense because it doesn't affect what's happening in the US launch to
Sure.
announce it. And it's not like it's going on sale tomorrow.
Right.
So,
And to
but
be
we lost
fair,
the bet, you're right.
to be fair, it didn't get the attention that, like the Q10 actually got, or the Z10 in the announcement.
Oh.
It was just like, hey, here's
Yeah.
the Q10 or Q5.
It was played
It's coming
smart.
in this, yeah. And then it was just taken away.
It wouldn't have made sense to spend more than 2 minutes talking
Yeah.
about that phone, right? When you already have your flagships out. But
Yeah,
but
exactly.
everybody knows it's and he said it also today, Torsten. He's like, it's going to sell a lot. We're going to sell a lot of these.
Yeah.
And when they say that, it's because they're talking to carriers who are going to order a lot of them. So there's a market for it. That's why they
Right.
build it.
I'm gonna
What's
give you.
next?
I'm gonna give you your computer back because it's about to die.
Okay.
But the next up on the topic list is the Bentley.
Oh
Everybody
yeah.
has
So
to
they
talk about the
shifted
Bentley.
topics after the Q5 was talked about. They drove a Bentley onto stage, the one that I sat in back at CES, which is all Q-nexed up, the yin yang to be a pretty pimped up and pimped out car.
Was there anything new there? Like, was
Nothing new from what we saw in CES. It's their vision of the future, and I think just a good example of
Mobile
showing off
computing.
how BlackBerry can exist on a phone and in a car environment. Now, the most interesting thing is the point that Marcus said during the live blog, and I'm going to say it was the most fun live blog ever because we had so many people there. We just took turns. I did a little bit, then Marcus took over. Then all of a sudden, Renee Ritchie, our Mobile Nation's podcast producer, but also editor-in-chief of iMore. He's just like, I'm good right now.
It was pretty funny because
And
Renee
he's
just
a
started
machine.
typing.
He's just a machine going.
But
So
neither
I'm
you
like,
nor Marcus kept going, so it was just Renee for quite a while, and everyone, somebody asked, so like, did Renee lose a bet? Like, why is he live walking right now?
no, it's awesome though. It's like, this is Mobile Nations, right? We love all phones. I love BlackBerries the most, but we're not going to beat up on anybody. And Renee owned it for a while there. He did a great job. But the thing that to me was very interesting from that, and Marcus Point brought it up as he was typing this morning during the keynote. You didn't hear the name QNX during that whole speech on stage.
Sure.
Yeah.
And one thing that Frank talked about later when he's talking marketing strategy is, BlackBerry for years has just been one big brand fragmentation example.
Sure.
RIM, BlackBerry, Torch, Bold, Curve, the Storm, Tour, this, that, QNX. And his whole vision is to bring it back to one thing.
Sure.
BlackBerry, that's what people know.
Yeah.
And when you think about BlackBerry in the car, and you don't say QNX in the car, but it's, Mercedes uses BlackBerry in the car. Everybody uses BlackBerry in the car.
Yep.
That becomes pretty huge over time. When you quit thinking of them as just a phone and tablet company, and you start thinking about them in this industry sense. And they didn't make any sort of formal announcement today, and I doubt a formal decision's been made, but I think what you saw today was maybe like a test to see like, okay, we're going to start talking about QNX as BlackBerry, and the industries who know the QNX name, maybe they'll start to think of it as BlackBerry. Sure. And it's good for us when we tell our BlackBerry story because now we can tell it as our own and not this fragmented story.
Yeah.
So I think they should do it. I'm like, I
would say it's natural, right? I mean, that's exactly what they did with TAT, right? And almost immediately.
It just absorbed it.
Yeah, it was like it was BlackBerry Sweden from then on in.
Yeah.
Score Loop, same thing. It's just games for BlackBerry. So it's a sensible move, but I think QNX also had a more kind of rich history and still has plenty of other businesses in cars and automotive and other stuff that they still needed something of a corporate identity. I'm kind of curious to see how those other side businesses will evolve as, BlackBerry wants them more into cars than anything else, right?
The other portion of that, actually, we saw the Bentley at the general session, the keynote there, but at the BlackBerry Jam session, they also had talks of integration with cars and stuff like that with BlackBerry 10.2, and basically it was like a combination. Like
BlackBerry 10.2?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That's basically, as it stands right now, it's not the operating system. Don't confuse it. It's not the operating system. It's the SDK, the 10.2 SDK, which will be available in beta come June. And basically, what that we've seen integration happening throughout BlackBerry, but they're also doing that with the SDK now. So your gaming solutions are built into the SDK. Some of your automotive solutions are sort of built into the SDK.
Yeah.
They're taking every piece of integration and moving it further. When they said mobile computing, like it really is becoming one huge platform itself.
No,
like I said, it's going back to the BlackBerry brand, but they're integrating everything and they're going with it and integrating it all around that BlackBerry brand too.
Yeah, that was the point they made, right? It's like the BlackBerry vision is wherever you can like connect lots of devices and multiple endpoints, that we want that to be us, right?
Yeah.
It's not about just one device at an endpoint. It's like we want to take it and connect everything together. It's basically Skynet.
Yeah.
And BlackBerry is building the thing that will end humanity.
On that note, we should talk about BBM cross-platform.
Okay. I just wanted to get across the power. Yes. No, that should come up later. You want to go BBM?
Excuse you.
Well, it seems like a segue, right? It's like BlackBerry going everywhere.
Simon segued, we're going to go
Yeah.
with it. So taking over the world
By going cross-platform.
by going cross-platform. So there were 2 BBM announcements today. So a lot of stuff happened after the car. We had Alicia Keys on stage. We had Lewis Hamilton on stage. Maybe that came after. I can't remember.
It's all a blur.
All a blur now. I'm sure the video will be up. You can rewatch it. But the real announcement of the show, the biggest announcement of the show, was BBM is going to go cross-platform. And that means BBM will be on iOS, and it will be available to Android users. I think as early as this summer in just limited version, which means they're going to get the chat out there in groups, which puts it at feature parity with like WhatsApp, which is pretty much the top downloaded app in both of those platforms, stores. And then by the end of the year, they said, or after that, they're going to build it out to feature parity. which means if you have an iPhone or an Android phone or a BlackBerry, there was no mention of Windows Phone, but they also didn't exclude it. I think they just said the priority will be on iOS and Android.
Yeah.
That means you're going to get BBM voice, BBM video chat, BBM screen share, BBM channels, which we'll talk about channels in a second. And I'm sure they're going to keep building out the feature set of BBMs. But basically, the decision today that was announced is that BBM will be a standalone platform of its sorts, no longer tied to BlackBerry. Now I'm going to check the chat room because I know people are going to be asking questions about is this a good decision or not, or anything like that.
So I mean, like I've been noticing some of the comments on like iMore and Android Central. They're like, obviously, if BlackBerry's giving up BBM, this has been their crown jewel for such a long time. People have bought devices for this one network. If they're getting rid of this, then what's the reason to get it anymore? But BlackBerry's always been fairly cross-platform.
Those people are
right?
stupid.
Yeah, there's that.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because the people who still like fall into that argument, it's the keyboard, not the BBM. Right, I've seen this we've been following the BB10 launch. The people who are hardened BlackBerry users who won't give it up, it's not because BBM. People can give up BBM now because they have WhatsApp has served as a good enough alternative.
Yep.
It's good enough. That's what it is. It is not BBM.
It's not excellent.
It is not excellent, and it's kind of ugly, but it's not excellent. So anybody who says that is really wrong.
Sure.
Like BBM is far better. Yeah. And at this point, if you know that the user base is there because they want their keyboard BlackBerries, now's the time to do it. I would have rather have them done it before.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have lost anything because it was the keyboard, not the BBM. And I think there was a fear that if BBM went sooner cross-platform, like 2 years ago, maybe that decline would have happened quicker. Maybe it would have. But I'm not sure that would have been the case because I think the keyboard is that saving thing.
Sure.
But keep going for
Sure.
talk.
So,
I don't agree with your idea, but keep going.
well, no, I mean,
just wanted to say.
I'm quoting commenters here, right? So, I mean, personally, I think it's a great move. It's sensible. I'm a little surprised that they aren't charging for it, though. I think that BBM could be good enough on other platforms that they could charge, maybe not necessarily a subscription, but like $5.
Okay, so WhatsApp, which platforms charge or don't? Do they charge an annual? Don't they charge for it, or is it free on Android, or
it's
you
like
pay?
free for a year or something like that.
But then you pay?
Yeah.
Does the chat room know? I mean, I know I've paid for it before. That's why I'm saying it's something.
I think they had it for like
Chat room
$1 or something, 99 cents.
1
per
year free and then you pay.
Yeah.
But doing it free is a great way to like kill your competition who charges.
Sure.
The feature set that's going to be in here far exceeds what WhatsApp has in it, right?
Oh yeah, especially once they get screen sharing in there, that's going to be huge. Channels
huge.
is looking interesting.
Now, one of the things that I saw on Twitter from the Android guys is they're like, oh, Google I/O is this week, which it is, and their keynote's tomorrow, and they're going to probably announce their version of something. And obviously,
Babel.
Facebook's trying to do Facebook chat or whatever. But that's the thing, like doing things like, I'll see, Google's never really succeeded as an IM thing. Like there's Google Chat and that, like it's popular, but it never went. I mean, maybe it's huge. I don't want to actually be quoted on that. But to me, it's never succeeded because I don't use that, even though I see lots of people. It's so automatic, right? It's built into Gmail. It happens.
Yeah.
It does. Some people really use it, probably Android users, maybe more. But it's not the same, right? It's a different type of. It's like old school IM a bit more.
Sure. I
And
mean,
this is messaging on steroids and then some. Like BBM is the shiznit.
Yeah. Now, I am really curious to see how much BBM is going to act as a gateway drug for iOS and Android users, especially dedicated ones to a BlackBerry device. I mean, on the one hand, it'll give them just a bridge to talk to their buddies who are still using a BlackBerry, but can BlackBerry deliver an excellent enough BBM experience on the software side to convince people that, hey, maybe BlackBerry does awesome stuff on hardware too, and maybe their overall OS. It has to be
keeps
really,
the
really
brand
good.
relevant on a good experience product for the rest of the world, right? Like so ideally BlackBerry wants to sell you hardware. They want you to buy the phone. But if they can't get that, at least have them, you want that app on the iPhones, you want it on Android phones. And think about the free marketing opportunity this becomes. So we give you the free phone, or we give you the free app, you have the best messaging system. You guys got to go away, you're distracting me here.
I was just going to let you know you're at 30 minutes.
Okay, it's a live show. Thanks for the
30
patience
minutes.
here. We don't have.
Kevin gets distracted easily.
We're facing cameras, and now I got live guys just making faces.
It's funny because they didn't affect anybody else, but Kevin apparently can't handle it.
Because
He can
they're
sit with a
looking
laptop
right-
and a phone on his lap, but he
Fine.
can't handle people standing in the
30
corner.
minutes?
You've been going for half an hour.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You can keep going, or you
Thanks,
can
John.
do whatever you want to do.
Excellent. No, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're not through our list
We're gonna
yet,
keep going,
so-
but apparently you guys have to move because Kevin can't concentrate.
Delivering information. That's all.
You're allowed to stand dead center, but I guess you can't stand to the sides apparently.
Live,
don't know.
we are live. Back to CrackBerry Live. That's what happened.
Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
So
Pick it back up, Kevin.
no. So BBM. Put it this way, WhatsApp, right? It's in the top downloaded section
Yep.
on iOS and Android. A year from now, 6 months from now, that's gonna, I think, be BBM. Okay, I'll be sort of surprised if it's not. That's a great position to be in, right? Every time those competitors show off their great app stores and everything else, you're gonna have a top app that is BlackBerry.
BBM.
And when BlackBerry comes out with BlackBerry 11 devices or Aristo or something, and they have 400 million or 500 million installs of free BBM apps across smartphones, and BlackBerry is like geared at smartphone upgraders, not feature phone people. They'll probably have a way. I mean, if I was building it, I'd have a way to be like, hey, boom, just so you know, here's our new whatever,
Yeah.
our new Z12.
Now, will the BBM app get approved into? I'm thinking the Apple
has
App
to.
Store. Does it? I mean,
If you don't, I'm gonna buy shares and BITCH my way through their AGM.
but I think it'll get into Google Play, all right. I mean,
Yeah, Google Play.
Why would
takes it.
iOS
I
turn
think-
it down though? If they
so
don't
weird
turn
like
down
that.
WhatsApp
Sheer
and stuff?
spite. I wouldn't hold it against Apple.
It's a competing service.
I don't know. I would like to ask Renee Ritchie of
Hey Renee,
Renee Ritchie.
would you mind coming up here for a second?
You're not mic'd up. That's okay.
He can share with me. He'll
Yeah,
lean
just
over.
lean into Adam's mic.
Just
Can you lean in right here?
So we're talking about BBM going cross-platform. Simon said if it gets into the iOS App Store, and I'm like, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no valid reason for him to reject it. I don't know if all the features, like he said, screen sharing, for example, and I don't know what that would be because you could only screen share the app that you're in. So there will be limitations based on the operating system.
Right.
But I think all the stuff like the group calling, the voice calling, the video calling, all that stuff will be no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully it's in there.
Will you BBM me when it's on iOS?
Absolutely. I mean,
I can finally
now
talk
do you
to you.
do you ever use WhatsApp?
I don't because I like the interface is terrible.
It's a horrible
It
interface.
is a
Thank
horrible
you.
interface.
Yeah, that's all I was looking for. You nailed it, right? And I praised. Well, actually, I don't know if I've ever praised WhatsApp, so I'm not even going back.
Probably not.
To me, WhatsApp I've never been a fan of because it was so clearly trying to copy BBM and not do it well, right? I think, and even reliability-wise, right? I've used it a lot of times, and it's just not as.
You were just
Filled slack
forced
in
to
the market,
use it.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. They filled slack in the market that was left by BBM not going cross-platform a couple years ago.
And
But-
Erica forced them to use it.
But I personally think the BBM brand is strong, and I think the experience is so good for what it is, right? That it'll get picked up. And obviously, there's a lot of you have Skype, you name it, you have your FaceTime, blah blah blah. But I really think BBM has something there, and WhatsApp's success in the marketplaces to me is the proof, right?
I think
that-
I think the name.
Yeah,
I
people
think
like
the name.
that medium.
Yeah, the name alone carries a lot of weight with it, and now that it has all these extra advanced features, you're going to start to see people go back through BBM or at least try BBM.
Like nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
People who switch to other platforms, Android or iOS, and they miss BBM and they know the name and they trust
And
it.
let's
Sure
be
they're on it.
let's be realistic here. Skype on a phone actually isn't that great. Everybody likes to use Skype. Everybody says that they want Skype, but you know what? Skype on a phone isn't actually that great. If you were to take Skype and compare it to BBM video, the video call quality on BBM video is better than what it would ever be on Skype.
The battery is horrible on
Yeah, exactly. So if you give people that option, okay, do you want crappier video or do you want really good video? If they can keep the video quality up to par, then there's no reason for people to complain about BBM. Like,
The thing I
all
love.
you have to do is make a really good product, carry that name weight of BBM with BlackBerry, and there you go. You've attracted users.
So the statistic I love today, which I had never heard before, was that I think it was over 50% of BBM messages get read within 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That is, to me anyways, that's pretty awesome and totally believable.
I hate that he set that expectation with you, Kevin.
What?
Yeah, but the sad part is
It's been 19 seconds. Why
Kevin's
haven't
in
you
the other
answered me?
50% because Kevin's the one where it takes them like 20 minutes to read a BBM.
He doesn't
most
care how long it
times,
takes
so-
him. He cares how long it takes
Exactly,
everyone else.
that's what I'm saying.
No. BBM is like a very connected feeling, and it's one of the things when I on my Mobile Nations World Tour last year when I kind of, swapped phones and tried everything else. nothing else ever felt the immediacy of BBM. Even other cross-platform apps. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's like on BlackBerry the blinking red light, but just something about it. Even the speed when you send a message, like there's just something about it that's.
And everybody,
I don't know, I need to learn how to put
if you look
words.
through the chat, everybody's saying, well, all my friends are already on WhatsApp. Well, you know what?
It doesn't matter.
The only reason why they're on WhatsApp is because BBM hasn't gone cross-platform
They
yet.
were on MySpace too at one time.
Yeah, tell them.
Yeah, WhatsApp. Okay, so that's a good thing though. Like WhatsApp, sure, there's a value in a network, right? You couldn't build a new Facebook tomorrow, like that was better, and expect 1 billion people to transfer it. I really think on mobile it's a little different. Part of it is you're going to see like the nature of the app stores, how they work. I think it's not that hard to download a new app, especially if it launches, gets into the top 10 list, it gets on your face because people open it up. So like the visibility won't be a hard issue.
Yeah.
And then the switching, the pain of switching, I don't know anybody who truly loves WhatsApp. All I know is people who tolerate WhatsApp. Often the way people used to talk about BlackBerry years ago, where they loved it, but it was more like, well, I really love the things it does for me in these areas, but I don't love it. Except BBM. Everybody has always freaking loved BBM. Nobody's ever complained about BBM as a part of BlackBerry, right?
And that's
Hate the problem. You don't love the solution.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with WhatsApp.
That's what I just
very
said.
quickly, yeah, no, it's true.
You just took the longer road.
No, you went long. I quit listening. I should do it again.
No, I said the right thing in a very
Keywords,
short
I quit
manner.
listening.
I said
all that
the only
matters.
reason why people are
hate it
using
when the kids
WhatsApp
fight.
is because BBM is not
Yeah,
cross-platform.
no,
yet.
absolutely. But I'm
That's
talking
right.
about the
So now you agree with them?
No, I did agree. But
confused.
you didn't address the pain of switching. Because in anything, like, why do people not leave iPhone easily or iOS easily to go someplace else? Oh, because I spend $1,000 on apps that I can't take with me. But I'm saying going from WhatsApp to BBM, yes, if you have 200 contacts on WhatsApp, even if BBM's better, for some people they're gonna go like, oh, that's a pain.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
And I
Yeah.
was saying, if somebody built a better Facebook tomorrow, you're not gonna switch because there's a better Facebook tomorrow. That's
I got you.
different
People are
point.
more used to it now because people have Twitter, they have WhatsApp, they have SMS. I think people are more. They don't.
They're
care so
already
much about
juggling.
it.
Yeah. So I predict it'll be good. Now, BBM channels.
Should we kick Renee out?
Lucking out.
Okay, thanks for
Thanks, Renee.
Thanks for your input.
Only here. Yeah, right. So, anything else cross-platform BBM?
No, I think we talked it up enough.
It's
good.
a big thing to talk up.
pretty
We
big,
couldn't
for
over
sure.
talk it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, negative Nancy.
So what's BlackBerry channels?
BlackBerry Channels is a very cool new feature we've been able to play around with for a day or so now, but it's essentially more of a social network inside BBM where you can set up a channel for personal use if you have a brand or some kind of a club or community or anything like that. Basically set up these channels inside BBM.
So I'm navigating while you talk here.
Oh, okay. So you'll set up your channel. Like we have an official CrackBerry channel. Kevin has a channel, Blaze has a channel, I have a channel. Simon didn't install yet, but Simon will have a channel. We're going to call it the Big Simon channel.
Call people.
And essentially it's a social network, so you can send out posts or updates. Like things like if you subscribe to the CrackBerry channel, we can send out posts and special things. Like if we have a sale in the CrackBerry store, we can send out coupon codes and say, hey,
We've been
for the
using
next-
that example every time we talk about it. So
Well, 'cause it's a
awesome.
great example. For the next 30 minutes, use this coupon code at the store.
Yeah, it's-
And you can set different kind of levels of interaction, whether you want people to be able to contact you directly, and things like that. And you get all kinds of stats as to your subscribers and views and things like that. So
Yeah, that's the
Somebody-
cool part is if you actually send a message, you get statistics.
Okay,
on
so I'm
it.
going to go to the
Yeah, for sure.
chat room for a second here, guys.
Okay.
So some people are saying, do we really need another social network? Is it like Twitter?
Sure.
So the way it was actually described to me by somebody, and I've been now reusing it as my own, but it's a little bit like Tumblr,
Yeah.
which is a personal blog where you just post
Right.
images and text, but people don't really comment so much on Tumblr, right?
No, they
Unless
just
they're other-
reshare their
They
posts.
reshare, combined with sort of like Twitter, combined sort of with BBM groups for people who know BBM groups.
it seems a lot like Facebook pages. Where it's
Somewhat, maybe like simple blogging. I think it's private though, right? It's opt-in, so you're only going to join a channel if you want to. It's not pushed to you. So it's really where you're going to. I mean, if you think about how you follow maybe people on Twitter who you like I follow Adam because I care about him, so I want to hear him tweet things. But tweeting is kind of messy where you know, I get your short message that's
Right.
limited to 140 characters, not a lot of room to say anything. Maybe you tweet a photo, maybe you don't. I can't see how many people liked or didn't like or left a comment on your thing. It's a little bit messy depending on the apps you're
It's also
using.
lost in the noise, all the other tweets
Yeah,
out there.
so this is kind of more like personal blogging where I can decide who I want to follow, get very clear channels upon which to follow so I can flip between. What I really like, and I'm going to show it on on the monitor here we're looking at, is they built in statistics too. So this is the CrackBerry channel. I'm going to navigate into channels. I'll show you how this works. So on our main menu in BBM, there's now a channels option. Tap in. Here's the CrackBerry channel. We can read some posts I've done today. So I took some photos, made some posts. Crazy engagement. So we only have 2,400 subscribers right now. But that first post, or this last post, 2,200 reads, 122 comments left on it. So I can scroll through all the comments here.
I have
Super
125
engaged
subscribers.
people.
I don't know.
I can see the thumbs up, 142. But what's really cool too is I can go into stats. So I can see visits to the page, all that stuff. And I can sort my engagement activity. So for the last day, we've had, I don't think these are updating in real time maybe. We've had 19 people joined by being featured, but I think that's not updating. Yeah, I don't think these stats are updating. Bug report,
Beta.
but really cool that it's there.
Right.
And that's what it looks like on our end being a publisher. You can see also there's some features coming like reactions and chats. Those are the one-on-one things.
Coming soon.
But then if I'm just following somebody like Adam, when I click into him, I just see his posts. And I can give him a thumbs up.
Fancy.
Oh yeah.
And when it comes to composing something, here guys, can we do one right now? This will be like a live. So wait, I'm gonna take a picture. Do a little multitask. Please lead in. And snap. That was really
Crackle
cool.
and pop.
And then right from BBM, or right from the photo app, I'm going to share it to my BBM channel.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
We're gonna pick. Should we put it on the CrackBerry channel or the CBK channel?
CBK.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More people will see it on the other one.
Oh, then why'd you ask?
Let's do it on mine then. It's my. Okay.
Yeah, what am I doing? I don't.
It goes right into the editor though, which is
Right.
pretty cool. So we could apply a little filter on this bad boy.
Sure.
Oh, we got the Quaker effect in the background. That's
Dun,
awesome.
dun, dun.
Let's do this one.
Oh, cool.
Done.
It's amazing.
Then I'm gonna do.
Channels and BBM channels.
Oh yeah, podcasting with. Now one thing I don't know is how do hashtags exist in here? Like, can I reference your channel and send you over? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not yet.
We should start using hashtags. I think that's becoming a more universal thing. Didn't Facebook start using
Everyone loves
hashtags at some
hashtags.
point?
Blaze
People like hashtags. Hashtags are for winners.
on
So, I mean, we can expect big companies and brands to be using this kind of thing. Celebrities too.
I think already they said Goo Dolls and
Yeah, Mercedes.
Petronas team or Petronas. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Right.
I
think
think
it's-
and Sarah, stuff like that. So I think it's going to be pretty okay.
I think it's interesting. If
Yeah.
nothing else, it's an interesting.
Right.
Addition.
It's like Kevin said too. I mean, you're choosing to subscribe, so it's not. Yeah, I guess Twitter essentially stuff like that. Like you're choosing to follow people, but in this case, you're choosing who you're going to pay attention to and what updates you're going to get. So you're selecting it, and you only choose who you want. And if you don't want to, you don't follow them. But so even for people that make personal channels, it's not like everything's getting flooded. Like if somebody makes a personal channel, then you're still choosing to follow, and you can make private channels and things like
I
that.
feel like
So-
a bad channel operator now, though. I didn't know I had that many subscribers.
I'm pretty
Where
excited
are they even
too.
coming from?
and
we got featured on like the default
Oh, right
feature.
on.
Oh, really?
That's great. There we go.
Yeah,
Nice,
so we're
nice.
like,
amazing.
maybe that's where we're getting all our followers from right now. It's pretty awesome.
can't have that up.
No,
didn't know.
I got a question about posting an update. Can you cross update to Facebook and Twitter?
So I don't see cross updating, but you can update from the web.
Yeah. You can
So that's
control everything.
this is
from
the
there.
coolest part to me is I like to be on my computer during the workday, and I'm typing and blogging, and I'm in a desktop environment.
Sure.
So I can open it in a browser tab and I can log in and
Upload higher res pictures.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. I don't know. I haven't tried that yet.
Okay.
We'll have to do just a straight up demo walkthrough.
Sure.
But that's one of the cool parts. So for us, one of the limitations right now is it's tied to the BBID. So I can only have my channel on one phone right now.
Yeah.
But, for say the CrackBerry channel, we'll all just share my BBID login and then, we can all post to that channel.
Okay.
But I think that's the kind of thing that, you're going to see more of in the.
I'd like to see that down the
more
road too.
features.
It's
I think-
more of
yeah.
like BBM groups where you can set administrators and things like that. So say we have the CrackBerry channel.
That's why I say it's
instead of just
interesting. Because
Whoa!
Chat to my.
So we already have 18
Stop the
comments and
presses.
23 thumbs ups.
What, on
That
the
was
picture?
like, yeah.
That's awesome.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, remember, people read their BBM, their
Yeah.
messages. Simon looks like a
Ah,
ghoul.
see?
True and lightning fast. Showed up right away. Good job, boys.
Boogity,
That was
boogity,
fast. That's brilliant. BB channel is awesome. Fast, sweet, great. Wow, that was fast.
awesome.
Yo, nice.
Is anybody
Woo.
saying first? Anybody?
Awesome.
Yeah, there it is.
Awesome. See, so that is the power of this. We're getting our 5-minute countdown out.
Yeah.
John's never done a CrackBerry podcast.
John doesn't. John
He doesn't realize
John
there's
somehow
no-
thinks that we're on a time constraint for some
Yeah.
reason. I'm not really sure where he got that idea.
Have we missed anything? Did we?
kinda confused.
Did we go through Best 10.1 at all yet?
All right.
No. All you.
I guess so.
Have at it.
Okay, so that's channels. Other things that happened, BlackBerry announced their scholarship program. Alicia Keys came on
Alicia Keys did,
stage.
yeah, which is awesome.
Again, she always owns the stage, but she's
does.
like,
Well, she did a good thing.
She's
She
good.
gave a lot of stats too about
Yeah.
I think how many women are
women
BlackBerry
in tech,
users.
BlackBerry,
56%
women
of
BlackBerry.
Some
women
crazy
are BlackBerry
percentage, yeah.
users, or
But she
57?
just, she's always very big about the women in tech and things like that. And they announced their scholarship program, which is pretty awesome. It goes along with all their keep moving projects, things they're doing. So
29
very
comments.
exciting.
What was it a minute ago? 18?
Scroll.
That's crazy.
So anyway, so she came out, did the scholarship program, then Kevin got distracted. And then we also heard a lot of stuff about BlackBerry Enterprise Service 10.1, which was announced today.
Right, which we
And
knew was
some bits
coming,
and
though,
pieces in
'cause-
there. Yeah, for sure, but we always like announcements.
But for the Bez admins
Can't
here,
argue.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
the ability to run the unfun BlackBerry in big enterprises, lock it down.
That's
Is that your
the other
tagline,
thing
the
with
unfun
the
BlackBerry?
cross-platform BBM too, is because now if BBM goes cross-platform, which it obviously is, they can offer it to other devices and they can roll it in with BYOD.
Yeah.
If
There
companies
you go.
adopt BYOD, then they can automatically adopt BBM
Yep.
on different devices as well.
Boom.
Now, one of the cool things that came out of that, because Bez has kind of been working with Android for a little while now, right? Like
Yeah.
it's been a fairly ongoing thing. The main feature that stuck out for me was this new secure app wrapper. So basically, you could run balance on iOS and Android devices. So you could have securely deployed standard PIM apps like Memo, Email, Contacts, Calendar, within the same kind of balanced style environment. And if you have custom solutions for businesses, you can throw that wrapper on them as well. So that's kind of cool.
So we only have a couple minutes left. I mean, we don't, but we're gonna just assume. we have a couple minutes left.
John says
John
we do.
says we
we have
do,
a couple
yeah.
minutes left. So I want to talk about the things that didn't get announced today, because if we don't talk about them, we're gonna get angry, ranty blog post comments and forum threads saying, "Why didn't you talk about these things?" So
Number one.
let's talk playbook for BlackBerry 10.
Oh.
BlackBerry 10 for the playbook.
Oh.
No updates at this show. So we asked the questions. Basically the answer is, when we have something to announce, we will announce it. Which means you can take that to mean it's still coming, or you can take it to mean they're just not going to say anything until eventually so few people care that when they say, no, it's not coming, it won't be too huge of a thing.
Right.
Now, I wrote my angry article on this back, didn't we do the post in Toronto? I walked out of the bathroom one night
Yeah, with
shirtless,
your-
and I'm like, Simon, take a photo of me.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Your green
green
one.
and I've said before how I'd like to see the playbook get BB10, which is just bring the apps over to it. The UI's good. It doesn't have enough RAM to do more than you want it to do.
Sure.
I think that's the easiest solution, because that's the key problem.
No, the easiest solution is to do nothing. Just don't do it. Let it die and build a new tablet with 7 gigs of RAM and BlackBerry 10.4 or 3 or whatever you want. But yes,
I
these
think if they made the apps available, people really wouldn't care because that's all everybody wants anyways. Everybody just wants the apps, the games, and whatever that actually works.
Yeah.
Technically, all they could really do is just go ahead and change the version number to 10.1 or 10.2, and there you go.
Yeah, no, it's true. Just change the version.
Do it.
Just rebrand it. The
Call it
curve's
different.
now the Q5. Well, BlackBerry
we do.
tablet OS, now BlackBerry 10. Done. It's got it. That's actually not a bad idea, Blaze. That's
what I'm
pretty
saying.
smart.
Write that down. Blog it.
Blog it. So we didn't get any updates there this week yet. The week is still young, but I don't think we will. When it comes to apps that some of you still want, like Instagram and Netflix, I mean, nothing, same thing, right? This would have been the time if there was something to announce, they would have announced it. Instead, we got Moog. Moog? Moog?
Moog.
Moog.
It's not Moog. I said
I think
Moog
it's
like
Moog.
5 times, and
Moog?
people were like, pronounce it right. I'm like, I still don't
We
know.
took a poll on the live
sure it's
blog,
Moog.
Yeah.
and not enough people were familiar with it. Not enough musicians and stuff.
It's a
although it's a
hardcore
good
musician
popular
thing.
app.
I think it's
Yeah.
Moog.
Moog.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Vogue.
Oh yeah,
Moog,
that's right.
like Vogue.
Vogue, like Vogue.
Moog like
And
Vogue.
Songza's going native.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
I caught that because I went into
We should
a
blog
session-
that because I
I
love
did.
songs.
You should blog it.
I
I
haven't
already
read
blogged.
How many blog posts did you write today?
it. Hey, I didn't have to. You guys did everything.
That's right.
Mine will come later when I get home to Canada. So
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
Wrap it
Other
up.
things, no. Other things we have to talk about that the community would want to hear. Are there
Instagram,
any
Skype.
things in the chat room?
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, no update. I mean,
No update. No Instagram.
no Netflix or Instagram update.
Sorry.
Hey Kevin, Playbook,
Sad trombone.
Spotify. No.
No Spotify.
There were some up
Nothing
updates
yet.
though.
No, we didn't hear from Ardio.
Modern Combat 4 came out.
Modern Combat 4 came out.
Soundhound showed up in the keynote there, which is pretty huge. A lot of people are looking for Shazam or some kind of
Yeah.
music ID something. So Soundhound is pretty awesome. What else?
I don't think we're really done with like the app announcements either.
Yeah.
Like just because something didn't necessarily get featured in the keynote or whatever, that doesn't mean it's not really coming. Like,
Yeah, like
I
that.
mean, some of the larger stuff, like Kevin said, Instagram and all that, Netflix is still kind of up in the air, but that's not to say that there isn't other higher quality app
Sure.
that could appear in App World. You just don't even know it.
And there's a lot of stuff in the solutions showcase here that I'm sure we haven't checked out
Yeah,
yet too.
totally.
So stick around. We're going to be covering the hell out of this show for a little while longer.
40 comments on your.
On my terrible, terrible face.
Simon's a
Great.
ghoul.
I think on that note,
No, I think let's wind it up. We're gonna be back tomorrow with another one. 1 minute.
John's
We have-
face is red and he's screaming
John's,
right now.
John's
It's terrible.
hungry for.
Terrible sight. We're not really sure why he's so eager to get done with it.
No,
but-
so what's
You
happening
guys
later
have
today?
Obligations. You got to tell them we're going to Universal tonight.
Oh yeah, we are going
we-
to the Universal party tonight. The
Well,
BlackBerry
the
Live
shuttles
party.
run till like 8:30. We'll be fine.
I'm with John because honestly, I gotta pee.
Okay. Audience, we love you. We will be back. This will be, this is the podcast that is the heavy meat and potatoes one because we're debriefing on the keynote.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of little other segments throughout the day. So check out all the CrackBerry coverage at BlackBerry Live 2013. To get to it, go to crackberry.com/BlackBerry-Live. You can find everything there. Thank you, Adam. And you guys should get the BBM beta here and find our new channels, the CrackBerry channel, the CrackBerry Kevin channel. All the Crack team will have channels. Michelle has a channel now. You just don't, Simon. So just get on that.
I'm
you're the
trying.
PC guy. You can like
Yay,
sideload
Michelle.
that. And I think that's it.
I think
Cool.
that's it for
It's a
now.
wrap.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Love you guys.
What the hell was that?
I blew a kiss. What's wrong?
Terrible.
He's so loving.
Very loving. I have the best team in mobile to work with.
Where are they? Are they going to come on the
All
podcast?
I know is they did not bring me a Pepsi.
Will they be
All
on? Will they be on the show?
was a Pepsi.
You keep complaining about that Pepsi, but I
Marcus
outright
brought you like
gave
a
you
whole bag of
Pepsi.
Pepsi. Marcus brought a bag of Pepsi, and then whiny Kevin's like, "Oh, I don't drink out of plastic bottles. I only drink out of cans."
Were you
And I
not
saw
there that day
I
for
saw
the
a car
TM
with the
stuff?
Pepsi
Okay,
rolling
enough of
by,
the
and we got it.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
So
That's it, we're
tomorrow,
done.
tomorrow we're gonna bring on
I
the
thought
rest of
Kankan
the
already shut
CrackBerry
us.
team that didn't make the show today because we got James Richardson here. We've got Alicia, we've got DJ, we've got James Falconer from the Mobile Nations team, we've got Renee Ritchie in the house, we got Marcus here who spoke yesterday, we'll talk to him. John, we got to get you up on stage too.
Yeah.
Talk about your
Again.
BlackBerry experiences because he's rocking a Z10 this week. And on that note, the show's over. We will see you soon.
Peace.
Cut.